My wife and I, we are a small business owner. We own a mobile food unit, a food trailer. We have been doing that for a little over 6 years. We are one of the top 5 food trucks that are in the Lexington County area, voted by the Lexington Chronicle. And have an extensive background in management and sales, having developed a management class for a company that trained its managers on how to manage people, and then especially a communications class. I worked for an international company selling water treatment equipment and was one of the top 5 salesmen in the United States on a fairly consistent basis with that. And then retired from Time Warner Cable just before it became Spectrum.
I haven't heard the name Time Warner Cable
In a while.
That's what I grew up with before it became Spectrum. Yeah.
Yep.
So you're running for mayor, obviously. Walk me through that thought process and that decision.
Okay. Having chosen Batesburg-Leesville for the town that it is, small town atmosphere, loving people, we moved here and really adopted it as our home. We have adopted it as our forever home. We moved from the Red Bank area to get away from the explosive growth that was headed from Lexington to that area. Moved here, and over the last few years have seen it starting to creep this way and picking up speed coming this way. Started attending council meetings and quickly realized that our council was not necessarily working together and was not listening and hearing the people of Batesburg-Leesville. So I decided I've got a couple things. I can either sit back and keep complaining, or I can try and throw my hat in and see if there's something that I can do to help out. So I am very faith-oriented, so after a good bit of prayer and listening for the answers, I kept being called to run for mayor, and decided to throw my hat in and see what I could do.
And so you mentioned kind of unifying council a bit, but I guess, if you could have like your key priorities or, what you want to do, what would those be?
First would be getting our council to work together, learning how to communicate to each other and agree to disagree so that we have open dialogue that will bring up the solutions to our issues through conversation and working through them. Second, we need to work on our ordinances. Our ordinances are outdated. We need to bring them up to speed, especially on the number of homes per acre that will be allowed to be built. Third, we need to work on our infrastructure. We need to work on the infrastructure and bring it up to modern times. A lot of our infrastructure has been built and put in place in 1919, and not much upgrade has happened since then. So we're fairly outdated. And with that being said, work on ordinances that will help hold developers that do come into our area more accountable for some of the financial responsibilities on the upgrades of the roads, the drainage, and sidewalks and lighting, so that the taxpayers of Batesburg-Leesville are not stuck with the burden, and keeping them accountable for a time period after they're finished with construction. So again, they don't just build, collect money, leave, and then the town is faced with all of the after facts.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of one of those things where it seems, development's probably headed this way, but making sure that it's responsible and that Batesburg-Leesville is also able to, get benefits of this as well, and it's not just developers come and then leave, but they actually implement stuff to help the community as well.
Absolutely. I'm certainly not opposed to growth. We need growth, because a town that doesn't have any growth at all will eventually fade away and die. But we need to control it, and we need to manage it a little bit more, and we need to put the financial responsibilities where they should lie, instead of just on the taxpayers. We need to bring in some industrial growth to Batesburg-Leesville that will give our citizens some long-term employment with good paying jobs, so that they're able to help support the local businesses, the small businesses that are here in town, which makes it a win-win situation for everybody.
So talking about growth, what do you just see as the future of Batesburg-Leesville?
Future, I would hope that we remain with our identity that we have now, small town USA. Batesburg-Leesville is a very loving place. It has a ton of very loving people. We need to bring in, like I said a while ago, the industrial growth, so that our people have employment opportunities that will be long-term, not just short-term. We need to bring in some stuff that's oriented towards families. I would like to see in 5 to 10 years Batesburg-Leesville be what it is now, with the jobs for our people, for the citizens. And we do things like you see in some other small towns down Highway 23, where we have opportunities to honor our first responders, honor our veterans that come from this town. I see so many of the small towns as you go towards Johnston and Ridge Springs and Modoc and Monetta, they have flags up with that. And I think that's something that we can do, and it's very, very minimal work that would have to be done to do that. That would bring in adding to the atmosphere that we have for our town.
And anything else you want to add? Anything I didn't ask? Anything that you want voters to know about you heading into first week in November?
I do ask for their vote. I'm not a politician. I am a small business owner, and I am a very concerned citizen about the town direction that we're headed. I decided to do this from my heart. I love our town, have no intentions of changing what I stand for. I invite all citizens that when this election is over, that they come to the town council meetings and see that the people who are asking for votes are doing what they say they're going to do while they're asking for votes. I want everyone, whoever wins whichever seat, to be held accountable for what they're saying they will do for the citizens.